So today I am with our special guest, Andrea Hunt. She is a transformational life coach and EFT practitioner. We're super excited to have her here with us today. And she is going to be discussing with us limiting beliefs, how they affect our lives, and what we can do to manage them. So thank you, Andrea.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here.
Great. So for today, I just have a few questions for you. Yeah, we're just looking forward to getting to know you a bit more and the work that you do. And thank you for being with us today in the group. So can you first of all explain to me what limiting beliefs are and how they affect our lives as expats?
Sure. So the best way to understanding beliefs and how they affect the world around us is to understand that we don't see the world as it is, we see it as we are. So that means that, beliefs end up being something that we sense and feel, and it also affects our perception of the world in terms of the opportunities that we see available versus obstacles, or what's fair or unfair, whether we think people are good or bad, and whether we think the world is a good place. And limiting beliefs basically affect the way that we show up in different situations. It might keep us playing small or limited or being afraid to take risk. And they can show up in many different ways in our lives, whether it's self-sabotage, maybe procrastinating, things that we know that we need to do. Maybe playing small in our goals and not really wanting to put ourselves out there because we feel failure, or maybe we even fear success because we think that we couldn't handle it. So basically, we get these beliefs over the course of our lives, maybe from our caregivers, also from institutions, academia, media. We get all of these messages that we kind of absorb over the course of our lives. And if we're not careful, we act on these beliefs from a subconscious level, and we end up kind of sabotaging our happiness and fulfillment.
Wow, it's really interesting. So you work with expats a lot, and as an expat, if I was to come to you for a coaching session or an EFT tapping session, what would that look like, and what should I expect from one of those sessions with you?
So usually in the sessions, I go into the beliefs in general. So we start with, positive beliefs, and then we go to negative beliefs. So it's important to understand that with the beliefs that we have payoffs of these beliefs, and we also have consequences. So for example, and this works for both positive and negative beliefs. So for example, if you're somebody who is really independent, that's a really positive belief to have about yourself. But on the other hand, one of the consequences of that could be that maybe you don't ask for help when you need to. And so you end up taking on too much stuff, and maybe you get really overwhelmed. And on the other hand, you might have a limiting belief that, you're never going to get a promotion, and so then you limit yourself by not even asking, because you just have the belief that, okay, I already know what they're going to say. Why should I do it? Why bother? They're going to say no. They're going to reject me. And so we really go into looking at the payoffs and also the consequences of the beliefs that we had, because that directly affects our behaviors and how we show up, and whether we risk something, whether we really go for it, whether we create intentions to grow, or whether we want to stay small. And then once we do that, and people have a much better understanding of how they're creating their own environment and how they're limiting themselves, and understanding that it's not always the world around us that's limiting to us, but it's us, then we can do some EFT tapping to work on that. Because one of the beliefs that a lot of people have is like, I'm not good enough, whether it's, or I'm too XYZ, I'm too old to get that position. Like, I'm not educated enough to be a manager. All of these different things we can work on with EFT tapping. And EFT tapping is really interesting because, with beliefs, it's not that you're going to completely change the belief overnight. With some things, honestly, it's more possible that's quickly, but it's kind of like an onion, because you have these layers of experiences and all of these things that solidify these beliefs. So once you start tapping, though, you can start breaking down those layers, kind of like an onion, so that you can get to the core and give yourself a sense of more confidence, because you're getting rid of the negative assumptions that you have about yourself and the world and the opportunities that you have.
Wow. Yes. Very, very interesting. So if I wanted to book a session with you, how would I go about doing that?
So you can go to the Trova.Health page, and generally I have life coaching sessions for transformational life coaching, and I also have EFT sessions. However, I have found lately, especially because I've been doing a lot of limiting belief workshops, that people really, really benefit from having a life coaching session with an EFT session. So if that's something that you would like to do, or you have, a special number of sessions that you'd like to do, or topics that you'd like to look at, you could just contact me directly, and I will go ahead and help you set that up. And yeah, we can see. Generally, I do recommend the 90-minute sessions because it's super helpful from a clarification standpoint to really look into whatever your challenge, your issue, your problem that you're having now from all different angles, so that you can have that clarity. And then once you've done that, it's much easier to figure out the problem. Like, okay, where's the resistance? Where's the fear? And then you can kind of start tackling it. But that clarification first is really, really helpful, I think, for a lot of people.
Okay, good. And wow, that's all just really awesome stuff. So as far as we have an event coming up in March, is that right? On March 16th, that will be hosted by you. And we are inviting the group to come and join this, and it will be we will be sending out more details on the group in the next week or so. So that's something really exciting. I tried EFT myself back in December when there was quite a lot going on at that time. We were trying to get home for Christmas. I was very overwhelmed. Our flights were canceled. My husband and daughter ended up with COVID. And it was a highly stressful time in my life. So I actually did a session with Andrea as well, and it was amazing. We talked through what I was going through. We did the tapping sessions together, and I felt so much more calm and at peace following that. So I highly recommend it. I hope you'll come along to her event in March. We'll send out those details. And yeah, again, if you have any other questions for Andrea, you can put them in the comments below these videos on the group, and she'd be happy to answer them for you. And as she said, if you'd like to go to her profile page on the Trova.Health website, she offers free discovery calls. You can have a chat with her and decide what works best for you and the type of session that you might be after. So thanks for joining us today. Thanks again for your patience, and we will talk to you soon. Take care.